So how come Eeth Koth was kicked off the Jedi Council? And first of all, this guy getting stabbed right here by Darth Sidious, this guy is Agent Kolar. This is not Eeth Koth. This is Agent Kolar. Two different people. Two different people of the same species who were both on the Jedi Council at different times. But the guy getting stabbed is Agent Kolar, so this is not Eeth Koth. And so Eeth Koth, he was a Jedi Master on the Jedi Council from the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and even throughout most of the Clone Wars. So why all of a sudden was he kicked off the Jedi Council? Why? And so the last we saw him was in like season 6 of Star Wars The Clone Wars, but when we see him next, it's in the Charles Soule Darth Vader comics, where Darth Vader tracks down Eeth Koth, and Eeth Koth is now this priest, and he has a daughter. He recently gave birth to a daughter, and then of course Darth Vader and the Inquisitors ambush him, and his daughter gets kidnapped, and Eeth Koth is killed by Darth Vader. But when Darth Vader shows up, Eeth Koth says that he's no longer Jedi. He has no loyalty to the Jedi. He was kicked off the Jedi Council, and he even offers to give Darth Vader the location of some surviving Jedi. He says that it's easy to find the location of the survivors of Order 66. And so this just brings into mind so many different questions. So first and foremost, was Eeth Koth actually going to betray his former friends? Was he actually going to help Darth Vader find any surviving Jedi if Darth Vader had listened? My guess is no. Because Darth Vader didn't really seem to have any interest in going through with Eeth Koth's offer. But of course, that's Darth Vader's personality. He just goes and kills first and takes questions later. Asks questions later. So maybe that's just the way Darth Vader likes to handle things. But Eeth Koth was also ready with his lightsaber to defend himself against Darth Vader. So that shows that Eeth Koth knew that Darth Vader and the Inquisitors were never going to take him up on his offer. And so maybe he just said that to stall so that he could help his wife and daughter and father-in-law escape. So, but the fact that he would offer to do something that drastic and quite frankly horrible shows that he definitely has changed, and he definitely is not what a Jedi should be. So, once again, this is Agent Kolar. The Eeth Koth. So, why would such a great Jedi Master who was on the Jedi Council just change all of a sudden? Well, that could be a hard question. But first, we have to consider that when Darth Vader fights Eeth Koth, Darth Vader says that he senses a lot of non-Jedi emotions in Eeth Koth. So, for instance, Darth Vader says that Eeth Koth is way too proud and angry and aggressive. And so, sure, that could just be chalked up to Eeth Koth that spent some time away from the Jedi Order, but I would assume that stuff maybe has a lot to do with him being kicked off the Jedi Council. And you might ask, well, I mean, Mace Windu is a very questionable Jedi, Ki-Adi-Mundi is a very questionable Jedi, Yoda is a very questionable Jedi, and a lot of these other Jedi Council members are very questionable, so why didn't any of them get kicked off? And I guess my response to that would be, well, if you think about it, Yoda's the Grand Master, so it's hard to kick him out. Mace Windu is also the Master of the Order, so it's hard to kick him out. And Ki-Adi-Mundi is also very high-ranking, so it's hard to kick him out. So maybe Eeth Koth just got the short end of the stick. Or maybe Eeth Koth did something really just drastically terrible on a mission. Maybe he did some really aggressive, revenge-style, just horrible, dark side stuff. And the Council caught him, and they're like, okay, you gotta go. You're kicked off the Council. So, and from the way he talks, he says he was kicked off the Council. He even offers to give up the survivors of Order 66 and says that he has no affection for the Jedi anymore. I would venture to assume that he had some really, really bad falling out with the Jedi Council, and it was just horribly awful. But keep in mind, he says that he was kicked off the Jedi Council. He did not say he was kicked off the Jedi Order, but he could have been. So maybe he just didn't mention that, or maybe the writers haven't decided that yet. But the point is, maybe he was kicked out of the Jedi Council and then he just left the Jedi Order, or who knows what happened exactly. And to speculate further, it is possible that Eeth Koth maybe met his wife while he was still a Jedi, but the reason I doubt that is because she doesn't quite seem to understand who Eeth Koth is exactly, because when Darth Vader shows up and says stuff, she seems to be a little confused, so not entirely sure, but maybe Eeth Koth met his wife while he was still on the Jedi Council, and the Jedi Council found out that he was in a relationship, and they kicked him out for forming attachments, which would make a lot of sense because that's what the Jedi rules are. So that would make the most sense. Now, Eeth Koth, like, how did he know about Order 66 and what happened in Survivors of the Jedi Purge and all that? Well, my guess is he was just keeping track of the news. So I'm going to assume that Eeth Koth was kicked off the Jedi Council, replaced by Agent Kolar, and then Eeth Koth just heard the news that Order 66 happened, and then, of course, having been a former Jedi Master in the Jedi Council, he knew how to maybe track down some Jedi survivors if need be. So that would be my guess. And yes, so we could speculate, but I guess we could assume that Eeth Koth just did something really, really, really bad because how else would he get kicked off the Jedi Council? Now, with a few more things. So, my guess is Eeth Koth would have been a top priority for the Empire to hunt down, because to have even a former Jedi on the loose is just very bad. It's too much of a loose end. And also, consider how Eeth Koth was literally a member of the Jedi Council, so he could be a big threat. And also, Eeth Koth had recently given birth to a Force-sensitive daughter, so they needed the daughter for Project Harvester. So yes, the Eeth Koth was a high priority target. And, of course, maybe if Darth Sidious himself had gone after Eeth Koth, he might have actually taken up Eeth Koth on the offer and taken Eeth Koth's suggestion to hunt down some survivors of the Jedi Purge. Now, I'm also going to speculate that Oppo Rancisis might have been in the same situation as Eeth Koth, where maybe Oppo Rancisis was also kicked off the Jedi Council. I'm just speculating, completely speculating, but he did survive Order 66. He did survive Order 66, and he was not on the Jedi Council in Revenge of the Sith either, so Oppo Rancisis might have also been kicked off the Jedi Council, and maybe that's how he survived too, so who knows? But yes, it's very interesting with Eeth Koth. I mean, what happened for Eeth Koth to have been in that situation? And as a final note, I'm sure I had more to say, but I just forgot to say it, but I'm just going to end it right here. But as a final note, the reason Agent Kolar and Eeth Koth are different is because, well, first of all, their names are different and they look totally different and they're different characters. But Agent Kolar, the actor, was originally meant to be recasted. So Eeth Koth was meant to be recasted with a different actor, but the different actor looks so different that they just decided to create a different character completely.